Hi ladies and gentlemen, so in this video I'm going to be exposing narcissistic women, and we're going to be discussing how narcissistic women view sex, okay? I'm also going to talk to you a little bit about how they view relationships in general, but for the most part we're going to be focusing on how they view sex, okay? And you know, why they use it and how they basically how they treat sex, okay? So this video is going to be quite eye-opening for those of you that are not familiar with this, okay? I would say that, you know, I just want to add that for the most part, I think when guys fall, and this is specifically for guys, right? This video is going to be for guys, because and I'm going to make a separate video that will be for women too, okay? So you know, and it's going to be exposing narcissistic guys basically, okay? I'm familiar with both, right? And so and I'm very familiar with narcissistic women, and the reason being is because I've had a lot of them in my life, right? And I also I grew up with a narcissistic mother, okay? And I'm going to be exposing her, and the reason being is because she's no longer here, you know, and you know, so there's really I'm not going to harm her in the process by talking about this, okay? So this is going to be for educational reasons. Just know that I do have personal experience with this, right? And so as a daughter of a narcissist, right, or a psychopath even, I am extremely familiar with what a narcissist is like behind closed doors, okay? And usually, guys, it's extremely scary, okay? When they take off this mask, this glamorous mask, might I add, right? Because it is going to be extremely glamorous, okay? It's kind of like a beautiful car that's really a lemon, okay? You know, so you're getting a beautiful car, but then it turns out to be a lemon or a faulty car, right? Like a broken car, a car that has a lot of issues, basically, okay? So that's exactly what narcissistic women are like. They're all glitz and glamour on the outside, right? But on the inside, they are extremely they're lacking, basically, okay? They don't have that developed internal world, okay? To them, that internal world is lacking. It's empty, okay? They're like shells, basically, empty shells that are extremely beautiful on the outside but empty on the inside, okay? So if you are going to go for a narcissistic woman, just know this, okay? A lot of them will present this image to you. They're going to present or paint this beautiful image of themselves, right? So a lot of narcissistic women will have everything going on for them on the outside. You know, they're going to you know, whatever is popular, whatever it is that men desire, they're going to try to get that. They're going to try to get this beautiful shape, right? They're going to work out, right, a lot. They're going to do particular specific exercises in order to get into that shape. They might just go to the extremes of getting a surgery, you know. So they might, if they're, you know, if they have small breasts, and if men, you know, if they discover that, you know, I don't know, if they think that men, the types of men that they're going after, you know, like big breasts, and then that's what they will get, okay? So they're going to do everything in their power to create this perfect image of themselves, even if it means that they have to go through surgery, even if it means that they have to use, you know, any means necessary, basically, in order to get to that place, okay? So for the most part, guys, they have no problems in doing, you know, being prostitutes, for example, in order to achieve that goal, you know. They have no problems. In fact, a lot of narcissistic women are like prostitutes, or they are prostitutes, okay? They don't have any morals, really. They don't have any values. The only thing that they value is pretty much money, right? So that's their god, okay? And so they're going to you know, if in order to get those surgeries, you know, they're either going to like ask men to pay for them, right? Or they're going to, you know, pay for themselves, right? And how they're going to pay for it is usually not, it's not going to be desirable they're not going to be in a desirable profession for the most part. Sometimes some are, okay, but you know, it might be you know, professions like prostitute, dancer, stripper, right? I don't know. You know, using different, like a webcam girl maybe, you know, or something like this, right? So they're going to probably have that profession, okay? A massage therapist that maybe sleeps with their clients, you know, so things like that, okay? So like I said, they don't really care too much about this stuff, okay? They don't care. They're willing to do whatever it takes in order to get what they want, and what they want for the most part is status. So they're looking for very wealthy guys, okay? They're looking for guys with a lot of money, a lot of power, a lot of status, okay? So these things are they're going to be drawn to men like this, okay? So be careful if you're a guy like this, just be aware of this, okay? Because these women, that's the guy that they look for, okay? They don't particularly care what you look like, you know, for the most part. My mom, I had a lot of stepdads basically, okay? And my mom, she dated a lot of different guys, right? And she ended up marrying them too. So some of them were, you know, really handsome, right? But some of them were very bad looking, I would say, physically speaking, you know? And I would say that when a guy, for the most part, right, a lot of wealthy guys also, they tend to have a very low self-esteem too, okay? A lot of these guys, they go for women like this who are narcissists, okay? So really it's like a match made in heaven, to be honest, or hell, I would say, right? And the reason being is because guys who, you know, value money and they focus on making that money, right? They usually they're usually also lacking on the inside, okay? So both people are kind of like attracted to one another, okay? So the narc, right, who has a really low self-esteem, right? She's going to create this perfect image of herself. She's going to tailor her image, right, to fit someone else's needs, basically, okay, or desires, okay? So she's going to be like a siren who's going to try to draw men into her, okay, or towards her, okay? And the guy, right, he's also the same. He's really similar. What he has on the inside, right, or his insides, they share the same insecurities, basically, okay? A lot of guys, I'm not saying all of them, okay, but for the most part, guys who tend to just focus on money, right? At the end and over time, they just once they have that money, they want to attract a certain type of woman to them also, right? They look for trophy wives more often than not, right? They look for girls that will look good next to them, that will make them feel desirable, you know? So because he thinks that, you know, it's the external world that he will kind of, that's where he will gain his confidence, and that in other words, he looks for validation outside of himself, okay? And that means getting a beautiful or physically attractive woman with all the physical attributes, right, that come with her, like the perfect body, right? Maybe she has like a perfect car to match, you know, although he can probably buy her that, right? But anyways, he tends to look for like on the surface, basically, okay? So they make a really good match in a way, okay? Because one has a low self-esteem and the other one too, right? And oftentimes maybe they want love, right? Deep down, maybe the two of them want love, right? Or maybe they're craving this true connection, right? But they're never going to get that. They're never going to be able to give that to one another, okay? So anyways, but back to narcissists, right? And how they view sex, right? So the narcissist female, okay, first of all, she uses sex as a manipulation tactic, okay? So my mom, she would teach me that. She would literally teach me this, you know, guys. And I know it sounds really, really crazy, right? Because basically, you know, the daughters of narcissists, right, or narcissistic females, they learn a whole bunch of like completely insane stuff, you know. So and if you're the type of a person, if you're kind of like weaker willed, right, then you're going to like really fall for these, you're going to learn a lot of very toxic information, basically, okay? And that information is going to really negatively impact your life. It's going to impact your self-esteem. It's going to damage you in many more ways than one, right? So yeah, so that's why, sometimes don't blame women, right? Certain women for certain things that they do, especially when they're like much younger, and the reason being is because maybe they haven't gotten a chance to like unlearn all of the things, all of the toxic things that they learned from their toxic mothers. So yes, we do have free will. We were given a mind, right, which we can develop, right? So with time, of course, those toxic behaviors, those toxic patterns, they need to be kind of, you have to reteach yourself basically. So I had to reteach myself a lot of things, and deep down also, when she was showing me that, right, I was like, wait a minute, this is wrong. No, this is not right. So she was teaching me a lot of information, and I wasn't accepting it. I wasn't, because deep down in my heart I knew it was wrong. I knew it went against what I was basically as a human being, right? So it didn't resonate with me whatsoever, and I was very intuitive. So there's that also, right? So, but female narcissist, right, she will use manipulation, okay? So she's going to use sex as a way to get what she wants, okay? She's going to use sex not as a way to connect with someone on a deeper level, right? But she's going to use sex as a manipulation tactic, okay? So she did teach me this too, okay? She told me like, oh, just like screw him, like as well as you can, like, and then he will like fall hard for you, and I was like, okay, that did not sound well. That this is not true. I can feel it. This is not. This is not. That's not normal. First of all, like I don't know. I mean, sex is it's a very spiritual thing, right? It should not be taken lightly, right? And before sleeping with anyone, right, you should get to know them, okay? And guys, this is especially true for you too, okay? Because it's very easy to fall for a narcissistic woman. She's like she's a siren basically, okay? She's going to create this perfect, you're going to basically, more often than not, you're going to meet like the perfect woman. She's gonna be like your dream, okay? And oftentimes also, right, she's extremely spiritually, she's psychologically broken, right? She's spiritually broken, okay? And so she's going to be possessed in more ways than one. My mom was, right? She had the Jezebel spirit, and probably all kinds of other spirits, like jealousy. So this woman is going to be extremely jealous, extremely vindictive. She's going to be extremely hateful. She doesn't like men. She doesn't like women, okay? She's going to pretend like she loves women and she loves men, right? But underneath it all, she hates them. She absolutely despises men. But she's going to create this image of loving man. She's going to be very nice, very friendly. She's going to fake laugh all the time. She's going to seem like this vibrant and positive woman, when underneath it all, it's the complete opposite, so she's just hiding behind the mask, okay? And it's extremely easy for men to fall for this, okay? She's going to present guys who are out of touch with themselves, right? They're not going to pick up on any of that bullshit, basically, okay? So they're going to end up falling for her facade, right? And she does put on a show, a great show, okay? My mom, she was very voluptuous. She was very like, she had the perfect shape, the perfect hourglass figure. She looked like Marilyn Monroe basically, okay? The way that she acted, she just really craved attention, right? So she would always wear these flashy outfits, right? That's another indication. If the outfits are too flashy, I would say she was extremely feminine, right? Overly feminine basically, right? So she was acting this, she was like an actress in a movie, okay? In real life, right? And so guys just like fell for her, they were just, and she would try to use sex as a manipulation tactic to get him in, to get him hooked, basically, and then once he was hooked, okay, she would withdraw that attention, she would withdraw that affection, you know. She would basically she would you know, she wouldn't sleep with him, you know. At some point she told me something really screwed up, you know. And she was dating, it was one of my stepdads, right? And we were living in France, in Paris, right? Because he had an apartment there. So we lived there during 2 summers, which was amazing, by the way. You know, I got really lucky, you know. So at some point, like in my childhood, we went from rags to riches, basically, you know, because my mom tended to like go after guys like this, okay, with a lot of money, okay. And so in a sense, we got to experience that kind of like a very, very wealthy life, right? And so I will tell you, you know, I will make more videos speaking about it, you know, a little bit later on, okay? But anyway, so let's go back to France, right? So there was this guy, right? And he, physically speaking, he was very, very, I would say, he wasn't gifted in that department, okay? And he was very, very short, you know, so my mom, she told me something just really, really terrible, okay? And I think I was like 18 when she told me, right? And she's like, she said, I don't even sleep with him. I don't sleep with him. But when we do have sex, I don't let him touch me at all, you know? And I was like, what? Like, how is that possible? What does that even mean, you know? How can you do that? That's crazy, you know? To me, what she was telling me was just completely insane, you know? How can you sleep with someone, make love to them, right? And not let them touch you, like physically. So yeah, believe it or not, guys, she did that, okay? She was okay with like withholding affection, not letting him kiss her, not letting him touch her at all. She told him not to touch her at all during sex, and she would just get on top of him, right? Anyways, that's another thing about narcissistic women, right? Is that they sexualize their children. They want their daughters to be just like them, basically, okay? And everything, the grooming starts very early on, okay? And so, you know, I will probably make a separate video about this, okay? So it doesn't really relate to this one, okay? But yeah, that's how like a lot of narcissistic daughters also kind of, they can become, I think there's a chance that they can become just like them, you know? But I think it also depends on the individual involved, you know? So, and that particular soul too, okay? But anyways, these women have no shame. They have no shame, okay? They will withhold affection. They will withhold attention. They will create drama wherever they go, okay? In restaurants, she would always make a scene. I would always just jump in and try to defend the waiters, you know? So the waiters would get like the worst of it. She would treat them like crap, basically, okay? And yeah, I just, every single outing with her was just so completely embarrassing because of that, you know? And I would, of course, argue and fight with her because I was a teen, you know? And so we would always go at it, you know, together because of that. And she just like loved that, you know? The Jezebel spirits, they don't care. They're really promiscuous. They're very they love drama. They crave this, you know. This is their energy source. That's how they get their energy, you know. So if it includes the waiters, the waitresses, they will take all of their energy too, okay? So always watch out for that too, okay? Look at how they're treating people around them, okay? Especially people that they don't benefit from, okay? So like such as waitresses and waiters, okay? So yeah, narcissistic women, okay, once again, they will go after men, okay, who have status, who have money for the most part, okay? Or they're going to go after, if they're older, they might probably go after someone who is younger, much younger, you know, and someone who is also broken, okay? So someone with a low self-esteem, but they, you know, this person will probably look good, okay? So she had a boyfriend, okay? My mom at some point, she even had multiple boyfriends, okay? She lived with 2 people, you know, which is insane, but to them it's completely normal, okay? They can have multiple people, they can even live with multiple people, okay? And for them, I think it's perfect because they can pit them against one another, you know, they can cause triangulation, you know, so they would fight over her, you know, so this feeds her ego basically. Okay, so yeah, she's the narcissistic female, the psychopathic female is more than okay with you know, having many different relationships, okay, at the same time. Okay, and so one of her boyfriends and one of her, yeah, two of her boyfriends, she had two, right? One of them was much older. Well, not much older. He was older, right? And both of them were kind of like mentally ill, I would say. Okay, so they had a lot of issues, you know. So sometimes she uses people like this, you know. If she has anything to gain from them, she's going to use them in one way or another. She doesn't care if they're unhealthy, mentally ill, you know, if something is wrong with them, you know, if they need help, she's going to use that, okay, against them, and that's just extremely terrible, you know. I just felt really, really, really bad for like everyone that she was involved with, you know, because I always had to get involved and I wanted to get involved. I just, you know, I saw all of this basically, you know, growing up, right? And I had to like watch these guys get treated unfairly, get kicked for no reason, get like shamed and called bad names, and just she would just act out, you know, completely. She would once she got them hooked, right? And of course, they stayed because of their own low self-esteem, right? Because they didn't know their value, because they also were mentally ill, you know, because they were unhealed, right? And because they had a lot of, you know, confidence issues, you know. They didn't have confidence, you know, no matter what they really looked like, you know. She had handsome men too. She had, you know, not so handsome guys, you know. It didn't matter. You know, actually, physical beauty has very little to do with this sometimes, okay, guys? So, the prettiest people, the most gorgeous people, physically speaking, right, they can have the most amount of issues, okay? Like mental issues, emotional issues, they can be the most damaged sometimes, okay? So, really, don't judge a book by its cover here, okay? It doesn't really relate too much, okay? So, yeah, so these guys, they stayed, they were humiliated, right? They were... you know, they were treated like crap basically. They were treated like doormats. She had one guy who she used for money, and the other one she used for sex, you know, because he was younger. He was like around my age, I would say. He was maybe a little bit older than me, right? But yeah, he was like very, I would say, like very physically fit, right? Just and so she would just flaunt him, you know. She would tell everyone that he's her boyfriend, and she used him like a thing, basically, okay? So that's another reason why, like a beautiful narcissist, right? Or she's going to have a couple of options, okay? Many options, actually. Besides those two, she always had someone like on the side too, and like... so yeah, there was zero loyalty to anyone, really, okay? And... she would treat them like crap behind closed doors. It was just completely terrible to watch. It was terrible. It was... I really, really did feel extremely bad for those guys. Okay, so if you are in this situation, you know, please don't fall for the facade. Always get to know a female before you jump into bed with her, okay? Because guys, for guys and girls, sex can hook you in, okay? It creates emotional ties, it creates energetic ties, okay? It creates a deeper bond, okay? And it's extremely easy to form a traumatic bond with someone, okay? So don't jump into bed too quickly, okay? Get to know that particular person, because before you know it, you will see so many red flags that you will be like, okay, I'm out. You know, it's so much easier to get out if you are just getting to know someone as a friend, okay? Because you're not, yes, you will still form a bond, but it's not going to be as strong. So you'll be able to get out much quicker or much sooner, okay? So just always, you know, always keep that in mind. You know, don't jump into bed so quickly, okay? Especially with a very, very beautiful woman who looks like, you know, a magazine cover, you know, a model from a magazine cover, okay? Or I don't know. I'm not saying that every beautiful woman is going to be like this. No, of course not, right? But if you notice that a woman is extremely image driven, okay, it seems a little bit too perfect, right? If she's so extremely feminine, if she maybe has a beautiful car, if she's got all these beautiful clothes, brand name. My mom loved brand name clothes, you know, she had two cars, beautiful cars. They were also very flashy, right? One was yellow, like shiny yellow, like the sun, right? And another one was white, right? So she had a lot of gold, right? She was covered in gold because guys bought it for her. You know, she would make men buy these things for her, so she could use it as an investment, right? She could sell it later on if she wanted to, you know. So just watch out for that, you know. I would say, yeah. Anyways, like I said, a narcissistic woman will be repulsed by sex in most cases, unless with someone she really finds attractive, you know. But in most cases, they do not care about forming a healthy relationship. They're unable to, first of all, to form a healthy relationship with a male, okay? So they're going to use sex and as a way to get you hooked, okay? As a way to manipulate you, as a way to control you. They're going to withhold sex if you're not giving them what they want, you know? They're going to embarrass you, humiliate you, you know? And you're going to basically end up with a very, very damaged, broken soul, okay? In the long run. Because that's the whole spirit of a Jezebel spirit, okay? They usually find decent men, good guys, right? And they try to break their spirit, okay? They try to humiliate them, embarrass them. They're going to break you emotionally, even physically, you know, you're going to start getting sick, you know? And they're going to siphon also your energy during sex, you know. They might even do, magic on you during sex. My mom, she told me something really crazy. I didn't believe in any of that stuff at the time, you know. I thought it was just completely insane what she was telling me. But basically, she used magic on guys during sex, okay. And she would like teach me this, okay. She would tell me like, oh, just, you know, if you want the guy to stay with you forever, here's what you have to do, you know? Just do this during sex, you know? Just say these words and so on, right? And I was like, what? Like, what are you telling me, you know? So anyways, I just, at that time, I was kind of, I was unconscious, I would say, right? But what she was telling me was just, it was stupid. It was, you know, I thought it was just really stupid and I didn't really pay too much attention to it, you know. But now that I go back, now that I'm realizing what she was saying is that basically a narcissistic woman can use magic on you, okay? Black magic on you in order for you to stay hooked to her, okay? So yeah, that, as crazy as this sounds, okay, it's not... they're that low basically, okay. And yeah, there's a demonic spirit behind them, like I said, the Jezebel spirit, right? And she's she's going to destroy you. She's going to completely destroy you if you let her, okay. If you don't, the key for you is to also realize your self-worth, okay. It's realize for it's to create healthy boundaries. Learn how to create healthy boundaries. Learn the red flags, okay? And don't fall for the sirens. I know for guys it's probably a lot easier to fall. You guys are visual creatures, right? It's easier for you to fall for the looks. But please, just don't, okay? Don't try to get her into bed too soon. Take your time, okay? Take your time. It's you're going to... you might just save yourself and your soul, you know, if you do. Take your time, get to know a person. I think it applies to, you know, men and women, okay? So, so I think I pretty much covered it all, you know, guys. So just you know, be careful out there, okay? Be careful out there and really realize something else, okay? Realize that it's not... The narcissistic woman didn't really, you know, yeah, she seduced you, right? But at the end of the day, guys, we are responsible for ourselves, okay? It's us who made the choice to go into any particular relationship, right? So Don't fall for the facade, you know? Look deeper, go beyond the appearance, go beyond the physical appearance. Because human beings are so much more than that, you know? And you might just save yourself in the process. You might just save yourself a lot of money in the process. Recognize your worth. You're not just a walking wallet. You're not just money. You're not just what you have. You know, you are enough. Okay, just being yourself, you make this world a better place without anything else. Okay, so you don't need anything else in particular to, and the right woman will appreciate you for you. Okay, you will look at the right woman, you will look into her eyes, and she will look into yours. And if you're working on yourself, if you've healed, right? You guys will look into each other's eyes, and you will just like nothing else will matter. You know. You will even like look beyond the physical, I would say, in a sense, you know. Of course the physical draws you in, right? But it shouldn't be your priority. Okay, try to learn to look beyond the facade, look beyond the physical. Okay, I know it's very hard for a lot of guys, but try to, you know, try to do that, but for that you need to get in touch with your emotions, you need to heal. Okay, you need to forget and let go. You need to forget and let go of all the toxicity, all the emotional ties that are holding you back. When we don't let go, when we don't forgive, when we hold hostility, when we hold anger, that keeps us bound to those people. Okay, so let them go. Cut the cords, you know, cut the emotional and the spiritual cords, and let go of your past. Forgive, learn to forgive. You know, you're going to be so much happier if you learn to forgive. You're going to be able to move on to a much better woman that you deserve, you know, that you've always wanted deep down, right? Sometimes what we want, right, as in the case with the narcissist, sometimes we maybe we want or we desire love from her, right? But she's never able to give us that because she can't give love to even herself, right? So learn to give love to yourself. Okay, learn to love yourself. Okay, so everything else will come to you after that. Okay, so bye, have a good one, guys. Okay, please subscribe if you haven't already, and there's my kid.